Okay, so this is Jaden, and today we're going to be reviewing the NFC Pro Bowl selections. We're going to do the AFC ones in a separate video, but in this one we're doing NFC. First off, the quarterback they chose, Aaron Rodgers as the starter, and the only other person that I could have seen was Kyler Murray, and he's one of the alternates, so yeah, and Aaron Rodgers as a starter, he's had one of the better seasons of his career. The Packers right now are 10 wins, right? $11 wins, so 11-3. Honestly, they're probably going to go either 13-3 or 12-4. I can see them going 12-4. It's probably more likely, but we'll see. Running back, Dalvin Cook. It's the only choice you could have made for the NFC. Aaron Jones and Alvin Kamara have both had excellent seasons. That's why they're the alternates, but Dalvin Cook has easily been the only one that deserves that starting spot on the Pro Bowl roster. Then wide receiver, you have Davante Adams, DeAndre Hopkins. Both of these players are slam dunks. Bill O'Brien is a moron trading away the best wide receiver in the league. Davante Adams has been the best route runner I've seen in a long time, especially with how young he is and how much time he has to develop. So you have the best, I guess, catching traffic, probably the best all-around receiver in DeAndre Hopkins is the best way of putting it, and the best route runner in Davante Adams. And then alternates for that are DK Metcalf, Justin Jefferson, which is very understandable. Both very good players, especially this year. Tight end, TJ Hawkinson. Good old hockey socks. He's been lighting up my fantasy league. Good thing I have him on my team. Last week he sucked, but I won anyway, so it doesn't matter. He's been very, very good this year. He's Matthew Stafford's #1 target, with Kenny Golladay not playing that many snaps this year. And the alternate tight end is Evan Ingram. And fullback is Kyle Juszczyk, I don't know how you say his last name. But he's the best fullback in the league, really the only good player in what is a dying position, so, yeah. And then O-line, the two starting tackles are David Bakhtiari and Trent Williams. Two players that have been just outstanding for their entire careers. Two very old, very experienced veterans is a good way to put it. Dave Bakhtiari blocking up front for that, honestly, arguably the best offense in the entire NFL for the Packers. He's been playing on another level this year. Trent Williams, same kind of story, except on a not as good team. Very good, reliable O-lineman. Has not allowed that many sacks. I actually probably should have looked up a couple more statistics than I did before, but who cares? It's just for fun, right? The two guards are Brandon Scherf and Elton Jenkins. Elton, right? That's how you pronounce it? Elgton. That doesn't sound right. I'll go Elton Jenkins. Brandon Scherf, same story as Dave Bakhtiari. One of the much more experienced players in the entire NFL. Very good player. He's been outstanding his entire career, and he still is an outstanding O-lineman. And Elton Jenkins is, I gotta be honest, up and coming, very, very good player. he's going to be good for a long time. So, and then the center, Jason Kelce, once again, same story. Old, experienced. He's going to go down as most likely a Hall of Fame center. Of course, he's also Travis Kelce's brother. Well, that doesn't really count for anything, except two brothers in the Pro Bowl, I guess, is pretty cool. Going up against each other, you know. But Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce are both in the Pro Bowl, except obviously Travis Kelce is on the AFC side with all the other Chiefs players. But yeah, Jason Kelce has been one of the lone good players on a very questionable Eagles team this year. And then we are now onto the defense. At the defensive end position, you have Cameron Jordan and Brandon Graham. Cameron Jordan has been, just like a lot of those L linemen I was talking about, he's been very good for a very long time. He's been probably the most iconic player on that Saints roster for a long time, other than Drew Brees, of course. And he's been the leader on a very, very talented defense this year. And then the other defensive end, Brandon Graham, of course. Another, I don't want to say the only good player on the Eagles defense, but the only good player on the Eagles defense this year. How about that? That works, right? There you go. Only good player on the Eagles defense this year. Well, I stand corrected. Fletcher Cox has been very good too, which is why he is also in the Pro Bowl with along Aaron Donald. They are the two defensive tackles. Aaron Donald, best player in the NFL. I'm not going to doubt that until he retires. He's the best player in the NFL. He will be, in my opinion, until he retires. And then Fletcher Cox. Very, very, very old player, but also still very, very, very good. He's aged amazing. He's playing like some of the 25-year-olds are right now. As the league has changed, his dominance has not. It is so impressive. And then outside linebackers, you have Khalil Mack and Zadarius Smith. The two best defensive players, in my opinion, well, except for Akeem Hicks, who got shammed for the Pro Bowl this year. Two of the best defensive players in the league right now. Zadarius Smith is a very young and up-and-coming player. Last year he was amazing, and this year he has just gotten better. Turned that play onto a whole new level. And especially on a very lackluster Packers defense, it's very impressive how he's been playing. And I should know. I'm a Bears fan, as you can obviously tell from all that. And then Khalil Mack, he's been tearing it up in Chicago, although not putting up the sack and TFL numbers he usually does. His QB pressures are through the roof. He's a very menacing presence against any O-lineman that goes after him. Even those O-linemen that I mentioned earlier who did make it to the Pro Bowl, he's been a pain in their sides. Middle linebacker, Bobby Wagner, and Fred Warner is the backup. I do believe that this year Fred Warner has played better than Bobby Wagner has. I believe that Fred Warner should be the starter in the Pro Bowl, and Bobby Wagner should be the alternate, but I'm not the NFL. I'm not deciding that. It's not mine to decide. It's just my opinion. But Bobby Wagner is still the last remaining member of the Legion of Boom. That's still on the Seahawks, of course. And yes, I do count Bobby Wagner as part of the Legion of Boom. If you don't, you are an idiot. But very, very good for a very long time. He's, at this point, I would still like to say a Hall of Fame lock already in his career. That still has a long ways to go. And then the two starting corners, not Marshawn Lattimore. He is an alternate, and that's my bad. Jalen Ramsey and Jair Alexander. Two excellent players who I don't like playing against that much, especially when they're up against my only good wide receiver. But Jalen Ramsey, just halfway through last season, got traded from Jacksonville to LA. That's across the entire country, and his play has not slowed down at all. If anything, it has gotten even better than it was in Jacksonville. Right now, I'd probably say he's the best corner in the league. I'm sorry, Stephon Gilmore. I'd say he surpasses you by a tiny bit. And then Jair Alexander, probably the best lockdown corner in the league right now. I might give Stephon an edge there, but Jair is probably the best cover corner in the league right now. I can't have no complaints with putting him in the Pro Bowl. Safety is, you have Quandre Diggs of the Seattle Seahawks. Don't really know what to say about him. He is a young player who has going to just get better and better as his career goes on, and you should expect to see him in the Pro Bowl many more times. And Budda Baker, same story. Young player, absolutely amazing in his first season in the NFL. He's already one of the premier safeties in the entire league. It's a very impressive thing. Got my words jumbled a little bit. It's a very impressive thing to see a young player, especially on the defensive side of the ball, doing that well against all the amazing quarterbacks, especially in the NFC. I mean, he has to play Russell Wilson twice a year. That's madness. It's very impressive what he's done in his very short career thus far. Now, the long snapper, the most important position on the field. Tyler Ott. Never heard of him, because I don't follow long snappers because, no offense if you are a long snapper, but you're boring. And then punter, Jack Fox of the Lions. He is I think one of the main reasons he got to get the Pro Bowl as a punter is because he's on the field so often. Because the Lions are terrible. Yeah, so that's all I have to say about that. And then kicker, Young Hao Koo, the Falcons. He's been the model of consistency thus far through this season, at least. I hadn't really heard of him before this season, but he's good. He good. And then the return specialist, Cordero Patterson of my Chicago Bears. Not very good as a running back, but probably still the best return specialist in the league, especially at the kick return. Not the best punt returner, that's why he's not a punt returner, but very good kick returner. He can turn a broken kick into a return touchdown so quickly. It's so amazing. The very last player I'm going to be talking about today is Nick Bellor. He's a special teamer for the Seattle Seahawks. He's also one of their fullbacks. I'm thinking their only fullback. Don't quote me on that. But he has been very consistent throughout this season on kickoffs and such. I mean, he's mostly a special teamer, so that's pretty much what he does. But he's been very consistent with his tackles and getting off blocks on that special team, and it does make sense that he got into the Pro Bowl. So, with that, I conclude my 2020 NFC Pro Bowl opinions, and I'll see you for the AFC one.